crowd was hot for this one.
Yeah.
This was a lot of, back and forth. And I think the crowd was standing the whole time. It was very interesting. I love how they're intertwining the fat face dipshit and the American Top Team with the Inner Circle. Inner Circle's been very popular lately over the past, 6 or so months, but this is the first time in a long time that I've heard Inner Circle chants. They're getting more momentum, back for sure. So the pre-promo, which I say it all the time, I really do like that backstage promo stuff with Mark Henry. Like, it's time for the main event. And then so they each get one jab, and Jericho, of course, was, home run as always. No one crazier than him in the Inner Circle. I loved his absolutely promo. And so they're coming out into a pure fire match and crowd that was really well done. And for some, in-ring debut in Junior Dos Santos, he held well. I mean, he did what he needed to do. And him going toe to toe with Jake and getting put through the table and doing the work. And I think he showed well. And this American Top Team, they're coming close to pretty indestructible, a team with a wrecking force. I mean, how do you compete with that? Even though we saw Santana and Ortiz showing up at the end, almost a little too late, they're still outnumbered with these guys and gals that are, punch faces for a living. So
yeah, man, I loved, again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I loved all of the matches really tonight. I thought it was just a good solid night of wrestling, but this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed JDS's involvement. I loved his just going and punching Jericho in the face when he gets in there, and I'm like, man, and we really need to have a Chris Jericho appreciation night one of these days, because
we do.
Of how much he gives back to the business. For a guy that's been everywhere and done everything and won every belt you can imagine, he's putting people over now in such an awesome way. Even when he wins feuds, he makes people look incredible. And we just I gotta give a hand to Chris Jericho, because he sold so much tonight. He took so many bumps in this match. Really on Inner Circle team Inner Circle, he took 95% of the bumps. I felt like it. I don't know if it felt that way to you, but it felt like he was taking everything. And I really thought it was interesting how they kind of just kept keeping him in the match. He really was in there for most of the time until Hager kind of came in at the end, and threw JDS through the table, which was a great spot. Sammy had a couple, he had only a couple moments of offense, but what he had was Sammy Guevara offense. He got to go in there and do some awesome stuff. That cutter he had looked like, he was about 40 feet off the ground, pulling him down there. Is great. I thought it was another just good match. It was a good main event. Seeing how, American Top Team needs to interfere, it's good for setting up Santana Ortiz now came out at the end to help them after the beatdown was already basically over on Jericho. And they're setting up more stuff, and I like that. I want to see all of these guys and gals in the ring. I would maybe even see an intergender match here. She's an MMA fighter. Why not? Who cares? She's cool with it, I'm sure. So let's have everybody go in here and have a banger match, and have different styles. It's fine. There are wrestlers that only punch people and kick people, like Malachi Black. His offense is similar to what an MMA fighter would have in a wrestling ring. So you can't tell me it can't work. It can. And I think that, tonight, even though JDS was only in the ring for a little bit, we got to see him do some cool stuff. There was a holy shit chant during that, which is cool. And I thought it was good. Another good match, man. Overall, just a good show, top to bottom. Really nice show. Consistent, and the crowd was hot, and a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun.
You talk about intergender. I mean, I didn't even think of that. That would be a great idea. But I mean, this is would be amazing. But obviously, it wouldn't happen based on other circumstances. But if Ronda Rousey came to AEW and joined the Inner Circle to help them out in a match, and
she hates
put people
wrestling
in their place,
fans. She'll never join AEW.
But I mean, if you could bring in either an AEW roster or someone to have an intergender match, who would you pick? Is there a badass woman that is an MMA fighter that you can kind of bring to match that level? Or do you think there's anyone badass enough on the AEW roster to take that level?
Put Jade in it.
But Jade, right. I mean, yes,
she
Thunder
looks like a monster.
Thunder would be the one and only one
obvious
that
choice,
I would think that, yes.
But Jade is a monster.
Right.
So you got to put her in there too. Who knows, man? There's a lot of people you could put in. Obviously, Ty Conti's got the MMA background as well. You know, the mixed martial arts background. You could put a lot of folks in there, which would make it cool. They could really play that up as a storyline too, especially if they do that. I just don't know if it works with Inner Circle just because they don't really have that set up yet.
True.
But if, you know, Jericho can pull strings, he got Mike Tyson on his side once.
That's
so
right.
why not?
He's an honorary Inner Circle member.
He's the GOAT. Have Mike Tyson join for this match. Oh man, there we go. That would
I mean,
great.
they're going to need all the help that they can get with how many, all, you know, the power numbers that the American Top Team has. But, you know, we're talking about this, you know, possibly what happened, you know, with maybe an injury with Sammy Guevara, but I think Sammy was the highlight of this match. I mean, the stuff that he was doing, and even the commentary team was like, oh, he turned it up to 25 on this. You know, he had that double springboard cutter, the Spanish fly, and then that standing moonsault. It was like boom, 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 like just the arsenal of moves that he was going back to back to back. It was like so impressive. So hopefully, I know the guy is so fearless. He takes some crazy bumps. And I hope he's okay and everything's okay. So I have to go back and see if we can see anything about it. But
especially with that belt, he just got put, you know, got the strap.
Right. Hopefully, I mean, there could be a storyline where, you know, they put Sammy Guevara on, you know, they injured him because of, you know, backstage thing. They beat him up, taking members out of the Inner Circle, all that. But, you know, hearing this in the chat and talking it through, I mean, I texted you as soon as Rampage was over, and I was like, wait, it's 9:50 or 10:57, you know, we have still 3 minutes. And so I was like wondering why they cut it short. They showed that quick Dynamite preview and then the Roads to the Top stuff. So they either had that planned or it did cut short because of a possible injury. You know, Santana and Ortiz, I do wish they did come out a little sooner to kind of at least, you know, throw some fists on some of them versus just a quick dump over the ropes with even the Men of the Year. Well, I loved the blend of this. You know, you mentioned it, Jericho. He has been, ever since he's been the leader of the Inner Circle, been the most fighting leader that I've, you know, known. You know, MJF calls the shots and lets his dogs fight. You know, no one fought more than Chris Jericho as a leader in Inner Circle. He was always out there. 5 Labors of Jericho, which we most recently saw. And then, you know, how often is he in the ring versus how often was Hager, Santana Ortiz, and Sammy in the ring? You know, all combined, I think they might equal Jericho's matches, but he was consistently going in the ring, consistently taking those big bumps and fists. And this is like his third beatdown by American Top Team, essentially the gang beatdown. And obviously he's trying to protect himself as best as possible, but these guys are not used to throwing shoot punches. So, you know, they're throwing in some haymakers.
You know, he's taking some potatoes, man. Like, you don't want that. It's no good. Especially, you know, Jericho is selling already, man. They don't need to be, they need to lay off him a little bit.
Yes.
You got Hager in there. Put Hager in there.
Right.
Big Hager. He's an MMA
It was great
fighter.
to see Hager put Junior Dos Santos through that table. I mean, that was
cool
great.
Spot.
That was a huge move too. He got him up there big.
Because he's such a big guy.
Like, I missed that. That's why I'm glad you guys all brought it up, because I kept hearing, holy shit, you know, those chants. I'm like, wait, what happened with Hager and Junior Dos Santos? Because they're still like throwing punches. I'm like, did I miss something? And it was that Sammy spot. So I'm gonna have to go, once we're done chatting here, I have to go back on that and see what was up with that.